I just got a cease and desist from Andrew Tate, which is so wonderful and ironic, isn't it? Because he's been crying about free speech being violated by being removed from social media. And lots of prominent people defending him. He even went on Fox News talking about how it's just not fair. His free speech is dead. What about my free speech, Andrew? And also, how beta is it to start crying to my attorney that please stop talking about me? Oh, yeah, Andrew, how about you cease and desist these nuts, okay?
All right, guys, so once again, we got to talk about woke leftist Ethan Klein, whom, once again, is finding himself in trouble, in hot water, because of his big mouth, okay? Because he believes that he has the right to say whatever he wants about people, okay? Even if what he's saying is not true, it's false statements. He is costing people their livelihoods, their careers, damaging their reputation so that they can't make money or, take care of themselves or whatever. He believes it's totally fine to do that, right? But also at the same time, he is an advocate of censorship of people that he disagrees with, okay? He thinks they should be censored for hate speech because what they say is harmful, right? So this guy is being sued by Andrew Tate for slanderous and defamatory statements, right? So I want to talk about that. But before I get in that, I need to catch you guys up on how we got to this point. Now, you guys should know who Andrew Tate is by now. If you don't know, then you've been living under a rock, okay? Or you've just been disconnected from the internet, okay? Which could be a good thing. Could be a good thing. But Andrew Tate has been banned from the internet, basically, because he says things that the mainstream liberal media and a lot of people don't necessarily like about women. They say he's a sexist. They say he's a misogynist, yada, 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 okay? There's all types of accusations that have been made towards the guy, okay? Including this accusation right here from Ethan Klein, in which, he says in a tweet, celebrated Andrew Tate being banned from the internet. He says he's going to go back to human trafficking women in his webcam sex slave dungeon. Pour one out for the worst person the internet has seen in a long, long time. So Ethan Klein has made statements like this about Andrew Tate, statements that Andrew Tate has denied and said are not true. And he actually went on Tucker Carlson to defend himself. And if you guys haven't seen this interview, it's definitely worth a watch if you are interested in, these allegations against Andrew Tate, which is part of the reason why he's been banned, and his defense of himself against those allegations. Take a look.
I don't really feel like I've exposed anything. Like, I'm truly not a very political person. This is the first time someone's experienced this level of ban. I'm not particularly right-wing. I don't vote. I mean, I obviously have my own personal views, but they didn't ban me for that. They banned me simply because I had large swaths of the population agreeing to very traditional masculine values. Teenage men and young men, 22, 23, 24, were looking up to me and aspiring to be like me. I have a very traditionally masculine life. I have fast cars and a big house and a lot of money and a beautiful girlfriend. And they thought this was very, very threatening. And for some reason, they decided that it's better if they annihilate me from the internet and replace me with somebody who's more aligned with whatever they're trying to purport.
Tell us what your message is to young men.
Yeah, so I think that being a man is very, very difficult. I think that men's issues are largely overlooked.
News accounts in the United States say that the U.S. Embassy in Bucharest, Romania, was tipped off to your misdeeds and alerted the local authorities you might be committing human trafficking. Given that this is the same charge they leveled against Julian Assange or a species of it, skeptical, but I want to know the details. Were you arrested for human trafficking? What happened?
Yeah, I was not arrested. So what happened is I suffered from a case of swatting. It's very popular with people who are large on the internet. Many large YouTubers have been swatted. It's where you call the police and you say somebody has a gun or there's a hostage situation and the SWAT team arrives. Somebody made a phone call to the American embassy saying that I was holding women at my house. The police arrived. And let me state this now. I state this openly to the world. I have absolute respect for the police. I would hate to live in a country where if you call the police saying women are being held against their will, that the police don't respond. That would be terrible. Of course they should come and look. Absolutely. They turned up, they investigated, they realized that nobody was in the house against their will. There was no crime committed. They said, okay, you're not a suspect, but you are a witness to this, along with me, my brother, the housekeeper, the gardener. Everybody who was in the premises at the time was labeled a witness. We had to go to the police station for 45 minutes for pieces of paper. We filled them in and we were let go. I was swatted. Nobody was hurt. There's no human trafficking. There's no women who were tied up. There's none of these things. It's all just complete fallacy.
Yeah, so Andrew Tate has explained those allegations and how, hey, he hasn't been charged with an actual crime. This is what happened. But that doesn't stop people from saying what they're going to say and basically acting like the man has actually been proven to be guilty of the things that they're accusing him of, like human trafficking. Okay? So Ethan Klein makes his claim on Twitter. He's made this claim on his podcast time and time again. And Andrew Tate said, enough is enough. You're slandering me. You are defaming my character, and I'm going to sue you, right? If you don't stop, okay? As Ethan Klein here has tweeted, "Dear free speech champions that defended Andrew Tate, tell me what you think about this. I just got a cease and desist letter from Andrew Tate. He demands I stop talking about him. Thoughts?" Well, first things first, it is clear that Ethan Klein here doesn't know the difference between free speech and slander/defamation, okay? He doesn't know that you can have your opinion. However, the lines become blurred in regards to what is constitutionally protected free speech when you start to purposely defame somebody's character using malice, right? Going after them with the intent to harm them in their career with false claims that you know are false and not true. So Ethan Klein here obviously doesn't know the difference, okay? He doesn't really understand this. And it has to be explained to him by lawyer Via Free in his Twitter mentions, right? As he says, quote, "Protected speech does not include defamation, tortious interference with business contracts, and other forms of criminals and civil harassment. Publicly accusing someone of heinous crimes, i.e. sex trafficking, and being a, quote, you know what, is defamation per se in many jurisdictions. Law 101. Yeah, so he bought the receipts of Ethan Klein accusing Andrew Tate of being a, you know what, okay, a misogynist, a sex trafficker, all type of things that have not been proven, right? Things that if you accuse people of being and doing can ruin their careers, okay? Especially if these statements are not true. You have no facts or evidence to back up these claims. So below this tweet, somebody said, "Damn, it's crazy that OJ never sued anyone for calling him a murderer. Hell, he was even acquitted. Andrew, on the other hand, is still an ongoing investigation over the charges by Interpol." People Free says, "OJ Simpson was found liable in a wrongful death, a civil lawsuit. Your analogy does not prove the point you think it proves." Found again. So the difference here is that Andrew Tate has not been found liable or anything, right? Or guilty of any type of crime, okay, a criminal offense. However, OJ, on the other hand, was found liable in a civil lawsuit. So when you call OJ a murderer or you say he's a murderer, there's actually some real kind of evidence there to suggest that what you're saying is not, completely made up, right? Again, that's the difference here. And then he continues and says, "It's not a question of making jokes or wordsmithing. Tate hasn't been convicted or even charged, and publishing these types of accusations as though they are fact can entail serious real-life consequences. Klein should have stopped at misogynist. At least there is clear opinion." At least that is clear opinion. Yeah. So that's his opinion, right? But again, Ethan Klein is presenting his opinion as if it is fact. And it's not a fact. He has no evidence to back up his claims as if they were fact, which puts him in the territory of slander and defamation, right? That's what happens. Again, we've talked about this before. We talked about this with The View and how The View was making claims about Turning Point USA, saying that they had, neo-Nazis outside of one of their events, okay? And Turning Point decided to send The View a cease and desist letter saying, "We will sue you if you keep making these types of claims." And The View went on TV and they apologized. Well, why is that? It's because they were presenting their opinion as if it was fact. it's a fact that Turning Point had neo-Nazis outside of their venue or let neo-Nazis into their venue. That was just not true, right? It was not true. And they were doing that to try to associate Turning Point USA with neo-Nazis, in which Turning Point USA is not associated with neo-Nazis. They're not even officially associated with the Republican Party, right? We saw it with the case of Oberlin College versus the bakery, okay, in which Oberlin and some of the woke people associated with that university made defamatory and slanderous statements about a bakery, a local family-owned bakery, that led to the bakery losing money, right? These statements were provably false, okay? They tried to accuse the bakery of being racist. Obviously, what they did was not racist, okay? They were protecting their business, and they lost money because they were protecting their business, right? They lost money because of that. So they sued the college, and they got, what, $30-some million? I mean, we've seen this time and time again that there are limits to free speech when you make certain type of statements about people, particularly statements that are being presented as fact that do not have any evidence to back up those claims. And those statements are being said to harm somebody's reputation in their career, right? You're causing actual harm to somebody. But again, when it comes to public figures, you know, these lawsuits are hard to win. But regardless, what Andrew Tate here is doing is just telling Ethan Klein, stop making these false, slanderous, and defamatory statements about me. What he's not saying is that Ethan Klein can't talk about Andrew Tate. Okay, that's not what he's saying, which is what Ethan Klein here is implying, even though, you know, it looks like he hasn't actually read the letter, or he's misreading the letter. It says, request to cease and desist all defamation, slander, and or libel. Again, he cut it off. I think that's what it says. You know, statements that damage the character and reputation. That's basically what it says, right? That's what it says, okay? It doesn't mean that Ethan Klein can't talk about Andrew Tate. It's just that Ethan Klein can't keep accusing Andrew Tate of committing crimes that he did not commit or that he hasn't been charged for or anything like that. So, you know, this guy Ethan Klein here not only does not understand free speech, but he's against free speech. He's against, you know, opinions, like actual real opinions that he doesn't like. And then he wants to boohoo and cry when he gets hit with a cease and desist letter for putting out opinions as if they're facts, for trying to slander somebody's character, which again does not fall in the realm of free speech. It's not protected by free speech. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.